That was it? He wanted me to eat pasta? Relief made my body feel like an overcooked piece of lasagna, saggy and limp. I can do that. And bring me back a sample without telling anyone what you are up to. Of course. Jeez, how hard could that be? An hour and a half later, I roamed up and down the long rows of tables in the Ellington High School gymnasium, using a hockey stick as a baton, making sure everything was ready. I pictured myself as a drum majorette being cheered on by a crowd in a huge football stadium. I could do with someone cheering for me. I probably looked more suited to leading the band from the Music Man with my hockey stick and crazy march. Slap happy, giddy, punch drunk. I was all those things. Maybe it was the combination of the Chianti from earlier with the DiNapolis and the caffeine I'd consumed after in the form of coffee, lots of it, from Dunkin's. My stomach rumbled, and I thought about the lasagna Angelo had mentioned. I hadn't had much of an appetite since my ex-husband, CJ, left me 6 weeks ago, despite the rekindling of our relationship last February. I still couldn't believe he had chosen a job in Florida over me. But I couldn't think about that now. The lasagna project was something to look forward to, something to keep me busy. Busy had been my mantra since CJ left. I'd overbooked myself in the hopes that I'd be dead tired. But sleep, like my appetite, had all but disappeared. The lasagna would have to wait, though, because in 9 hours the doors to the swap would open. For the past week, people had been dropping off their gently used athletic equipment, items they were tired of or that had been outgrown. Tomorrow, other people would come and pick up what they needed. It was something that made everyone happy. The last of my helpers had left right after I returned from DiNapolis around 10. Who could blame them? Some people had things to do on Friday nights. All the hard work getting ready for the swap was better than hardly working. I twirled the hockey stick in my hand as I checked one last time to make sure all the equipment for the sports swap was at least somewhat organized. It hadn't taken long to learn that sports equipment didn't like to be arranged. It liked to roll or topple over. Baseball bats, lacrosse sticks, balls, pretty much all sports equipment. They were unruly and didn't lend themselves to neat arrangements. Except for helmets. At least they cooperated by sitting proudly in rows. I'd get Zippo for doing this, so maybe it wasn't a smart business move. The last Saturday in June was primo garage sale season. I had turned down a lot of jobs, hoping that organizing this would up my profile in the town of Ellington and the surrounding suburban areas outside of Boston. It hadn't taken long to learn that sports equipment swaps were very popular in this area. Old and outgrown equipment was a big draw. Most of the school board members had liked my idea of adding a silent auction to raise more funds for the school district. With all the sports teams in Boston, it had been easy to get items owned or signed by famous athletes and to prove their provenance. I'd even had a fangirl moment when I ran into Tom Brady the day I picked things up at Gillette Stadium, home of the Patriots. He was bigger in person and better looking. His smile almost melted my shoes. I tossed the hockey stick up into the air as I twirled around, planning to catch it before it hit the floor. The lights went out, and I skittered to a stop mid-twirl. The hockey stick glanced off my shoulder and clattered to the floor by my feet. "Ow!" I said to the empty, silent gym. I felt around for the hockey stick so I didn't trip myself. After I picked it up, I shook my head, hoping the power outage wouldn't prevent the swap from taking place tomorrow. I shuffled in the general direction of my purse and cell phone, not wanting to knock over one of the tables full of equipment. If I could find my phone, I could use the flashlight app. Footsteps echoed on the gymnasium floor, and they weren't mine. "Hello?" I called. At least I wasn't alone. Slow, deliberate footsteps headed toward